Hey guys, Gulino here. I just wanted to give you an update on what's going on here. I'm putting a new motor on the boat this year. I'm putting a 4-stroke on. Upgrading here. I think 4-stroke's the way to go. Basically, so what I did is I found out that I'm going to need to repair or replace the transom in my boat. I'm going to do a step-by-step and a little time-lapse on the GoPro as well on what I'm doing here. So I'm going to get the trolling motor off. I got the big motor already off, and I have to take the cap off, take everything off, the screws, the rivets, top cap, and basically there's wood inside of here that's rotten. So once I get all this out and I get the rotten wood out, I'm going to sandwich 2 pieces of marine grade plywood together and screw them, glue them, and I'm going to use this existing piece of wood as a template, trace it, cut it out, and replace it, and stick it back in there, and then hopefully put everything back together. I'm hoping it's going to be labor intensive, but I'm hoping it won't turn out too bad, so we'll see what happens. Holy cow, we finally got her out. What a disaster. This is what it looks like. All the way down in here. Alright guys, we got done late last night about midnight. Well, we got the transom out. It was a little bit of a work to do that. It was all swollen in there and we had to beat it and pry it out of there. Luckily we had the winch and helped pull it right out. So this morning I went and got some more supplies. I got some marine grade plywood, I got some proper screws, and I'm going to screw this and glue it together. So I took the old transom, used that as a template, and I'm going to cut it out of this. you up on how far I've gotten so far. Basically, I have taken out the transom, and that was quite the chore. I had my father help me. We were up till about midnight last night and finally got her out. And that took us about a good 4 hours to take everything apart, and we had to use the winch up there to put some lags in the top of the transom and try to coax it out, but it was so swollen up from being full of water and whatnot and just being old that it took a little bit of maneuvering, but we got her out finally. As you can see, this is the old one down here. It's kind of rotted and fallen apart. Basically right below me here is the new one that I have traced with a pattern cut out, and what I did was I screwed it and glued it. It's 2 3/4 inch pieces of plywood that are marine grade, and I just kind of marked out where the holes are so I knew where not to drill the screws. So I put it flat on the floor, put some weight on top of it just to keep everything kind of nice and tight and it won't bow, and try to keep everything square. So my goal is eventually here, now that I have everything out, I have to clean everything out of this cavity here, and I'm going to fit this back in there. Hopefully it goes back in like a glove. It should. I mean, the template's right. So I'm just going to vacuum all this, clean it all up, and once I slide the wood back in here, then I can reassemble the boat and get in there. It's a little bit of a chore, a little bit of a process, but it's not something that's too bad to do. I think the hardest part was just trying to rip out the old rotted transom, but everything else kind of came out pretty easily. The one thing that I did realize that helped us a lot was taking off the top part of this back here, which was just basically all rivets. With that, we were able to access the back here and kind of hit it with a hammer and get it to come up. So, good morning, guys. It's Sunday, day 3. Yesterday I didn't do too much. I had to go to my kids' wrestling banquet. So yesterday I just did the template for the transom. So we're here on early Sunday morning, right as Tractor Supply is opening. About 9 o'clock in the morning. Just trying to get some locking nuts and washers for the bolts that go through the transom. Basically, the nuts that are on there are not locking and they kind of free spin, so I didn't like that, so we're changing that out. Basically, I'm just going to walk in here, grab a couple supplies, and try to get rock and rolling on this thing today. So. It's finally done! I couldn't be happier. We finished it up today. We started at about 9 this morning after I made that pit stop to Tractor Supply and got some stuff, and now we're back and it's all done. I'm pretty excited. Wasn't too bad actually. Just a lot of finagling. Basically what I did here is after I drilled the template and put it all together, glued it, screwed it, cut it all out, I set it back in here. Come to find out that we still had some, when these top parts were put on an angle here, when I traced the pattern, it didn't come out as nicely as I wanted it to. These things are a little rotted. So when we did put it in, these sat up a little higher, so we had to trim it down. It wasn't too bad. Put a couple screws in it, held it in place, so we took the Sawzall and just kind of rounded it out and made it perfect. And then after that, we basically went through, put all the bolts straight through. I put all the locking nuts on there so they don't spin and they lock on in place. When I put the screws in, I actually used some marine grade caulk or sealant or whatever you want to call it. I believe it's 5200 that I used. And I just kind of dabbed it in there, and that way it would seal the screws up nice and tight and watertight. You just have to be careful with the 5200. I heard that it's kind of a pain in the butt to take out if need be once it's completely dried. I think it's about 48 hours of cure time. So once we drilled all the screws through the new wood and the marine grade wood all the way down, you have to go on the inside and put the big nuts on these and put the tie downs on there. So once we took care of the whole back of the transom, we were able to put these on. And all it is like you've seen here, it's 3 pieces. It was this whole piece came off, and then this one here. So I put these on and put some white nails back into it. And then once I got this whole molding piece on, I pounded the aluminum back over, folded it back onto itself, and put the molding back on the edges. And then I took the corner pieces, put them on, put some new rivets in them. But before I put this corner piece on, I had to slide the black bumper in the sides of the boat all the way around it. It was a little tough because it was dried out, so I found out I had to put the front on first, put the 4 screws in it with the front corner or front plate, and then kind of stretch it back with some needle nose, and then there's actually a screw in the back that held it in place. So I did that, and then I was able to put the corner pieces on. And then after we did that, I took this top piece and we put brand new rivets in it. As you can see, there's all brand new rivets. And then I caulked everything with 5200 all the way around and up the sides. And it actually tightened up my transom back here. I had a gap here for the longest time, and it tightened it right up with the new screws and tightening everything up with the new transom wood and everything. Tightened it right up, but I still, precautionary measure, I put caulk all the way around it and sealed it up so it's nice and watertight. So that was basically it. I left these off here, so I'm not sure where the new holes are going for the new motor. So I'm going to let those guys take care of that at Bow and Stern when they put the new motor on, and let them do all that. I left the trolling motor off, give them some room to work, and then they're going to have to suck out all the gas from the gas tank, going from a 2-stroke to a 4-stroke, and run all new cables with new controls all the way to the front of the boat. So I already took the liberty of mounting my transoms or my transducers back on, and just kind of took it as far as I could go with it. So I'm pretty excited. It's done, and I can't wait to see what it looks like with the new motor on there. So we'll see what happens, and I can't wait to be back on the water finally. So thank you for watching, and hopefully next time that I make a video, I'll be fishing instead of working.